Okay, so Stogie T's album, what do you think of it?
Okay, so I love the album in terms of production. There's a DJ called DJ Kgaje. He's like a very popular instrumental, not instrumental, like he has like the 90s vibe kind of producing style and DJing, just like Ken Zero. I don't know if you guys know Ken Zero, like 90s, 80s hip hop. So he produced some of the tracks on the album, and okay, just listening to it, because okay, now for me it really takes time for me to absorb an album, really, especially if it has lyrics compared to like an instrumental thing. But okay, I picked up that, and then the first thing that came to my mind was that after Stogie T's freestyle on Sway, looking at, I don't know if you guys have been checking, but like many of the American reaction videos, they were very impressed. In fact, many were saying, okay, now this guy really knows what's up. Like he really knows, he understands the culture, you know. And I think that already was keeping people hungry to actually find out who is this guy. So for this album, listening to the sound, like the production style, I can imagine already how people that side will be able to relate, because it's a more or less familiar sound. It's influenced by the 90s, 80s hip hop. And again, they'll be listening again to like a nice body of work of Mr. Stogie T. So it's a good album, production wise. Lyrically, I didn't really listen lyrically. Like I really struggle to pick things lyrically quick. Plus, you know, they rap fast and stuff. But yeah, I know that sounds so weird.
I listened to the album twice, so for that reason.
Because
Because
it's
he
really
does-
short.
Huh?
It's also really short.
Well, mostly I listen to albums twice anyway.
Okay.
But yes, yeah, I like the fact that it was so short because he had a point. It was so, for me, it was such a cohesive album. I mean, it's like a mini album, really. It's not even an album. Like, but it's so cool, man. In fact, I was listening to it. Yeah, it was like he really needed a point. Like it was almost like if you took Humble of Kendrick when it came and it dropped, like it was like, oh shit, who's he calling out? And you put it on an album. That for me is like the impact of the album. So that's the message he's trying to get across is what are we doing here? Like why are you guys behaving like sheep? Absolutely love the way it was put together from the beginning and the end. The same song in the beginning, intro was in the outro, background music. And then the message was just, I don't know, that's just the best thing I can say. It was really good. His lyrics were really good. Yeah, production also was really, really good on this. And for me, yeah, it was more fun to listen to than the Game's album because the Game was coming out with more of himself in the album. Like, it was deeper. So you can't really say like it's overall fun. For me, Stogie T's album was overall fun to listen to because yeah, you got the message across.
And the album cover was also, I liked it, with the sheep eating that thing that's burning there. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I think for me it was interesting storyline. Like it's not really what you get nowadays in rap.
You mean in terms of album covers?
No, the storyline.
Oh,
Yeah, it was. I was listening to a story, and it was quite complete for me.
and you, Jay?
I was disappointed.
For real?
Yeah, because I listened to Honey and Pain, and some of my favorite tracks that I'm constantly on repeat and still listening to is Honey and Pain. So if I compare Honey and Pain to Empire of Sheep, I am disappointed in terms of a consumer of music.
I think this is the first album I listened to. His.
Content-wise, like,
I need to listen to that one.
content-wise, is that where mostly the disappointment is coming from, or like?
So in Honey and Pain, he was more hungry because he had the international shot. And the shot was Sway in the morning, and he came to Sway with Honey and Pain. This one is Stogie T. The one thing that I didn't like on Honey and Pain is the same thing I don't like about Empire of Sheep. He's putting other rappers down, man. He's called some other rappers weirdos, man. And that's the one phrase that I don't like. Even in he used the same phrase on both albums. The young upcoming rappers he called weirdos because he doesn't look a particular way as the OGs of rappers I used to. Let the kids be, man.
Yeah, I mean, how are you gonna control the game like that?
But some of them, have you seen? They look so like. I think I don't know who was saying like most of these kids they look so like they're old because of the lean that they're drinking and the alcohol and like the drugs and like the weed. Like they all be looking like with the dreadlocks. Those untaken care of dreadlocks. So they always look like They might just knock at your window and say, "Parking come." You think it's a parking attendant? It's actually a rapper.
Well, now you're going to immediately.
Let's take the Kgaje 6ix9ine. He had more money in his short career than Joe Budden had in his 10-year career with Slaughterhouse and with Eminem's label.
Deep.
And even him, Joe Budden, started realizing is that he was with a major record label, he was a major artist, he couldn't express himself, he didn't have money to eat.
Kgaje?
No,
No.
Joe.
Okay.
But who's the better rapper? Joe Budden, obviously. The Kgaje is a hustle. He knows that I need to look a particular way. I need to put some fake juice or something in this thing so they hustle the game. And it's the same thing that Nipsey will tell you is that this game is about hustling. It's also about getting paid. So yes, you have your Kendrick and your J. Cole's. We have a kind of a particular project with Rhapsody. But then you also have the people that doesn't want to be poor. They want to eat. They want to provide for their families. So they pump the game. To pump a butterfly is about pumping the game. So if it's about being weird, then let me be weird.
Yeah.
I think I agree with. I think especially expecting the maturity of him as an OG. I think one wouldn't be expecting to say. But I mean, since it's, I don't know, but I just like Stogie T. Here I'll be just be defending him.
You know, I think, for me, I think I realized from today, I'm going to start doing something differently for voices next time. I'm going to listen to the music apart from the artist. So, if, I mean, I have been doing it, but like, for instance, if Shoma Josie has to come up with a song I don't like, I'll straight up call it that. But, and without taking anything away from her as an artist. So I'm gonna actually start doing that for myself, looking at, because if I listen to the album, I kind of like the story, like I'm saying. I've never listened to his other work, so I don't have anything to compare it with.
So the difference for me between R&B and hip hop is that R&B you can tell people a love story. And the debate that you guys have between has hip hop always have to be pain? No, it doesn't have to be pain, but there's a factual nature of hip hop. That's the thing that you always have to consider when it comes to hip hop.
What is that factual nature?
Is that if you're talking about a painful experience, it needs to be factual. If you talk about a particular story, even if it's joyful, it has to be factual. You don't have to make it up. The only person who got away with it was Tupac.
But he used it as analogies, kind of.
No, he used people's stories as in a kind of anonymous way. So this is still factual. It's just the level of anonymity that is happening.
So I mean, ethically, that's good. That's okay.
No, kind of ethically, but I'm saying is that there needs to be a factual nature when it comes to spit.
No, I was thinking about that in terms of pain. It's like if you listen to Shoma Josie, like he has Abelungu for instance, or that is kind of factual still, because it's still talking about her experience, or maybe not her experience, but just like some facts of how Abelungu is. But for me, it's like it's a release. You know, it's more of it's not coming from pain. It's not like because sometimes we'll say like it's too much to listen to Kendrick now. You want to feel a little bit lighter. Like you don't want to feel heavy all the time. So yeah,
and then I listen to Travis Scott.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of like Stogie T's album, how did that make you feel? So was it like was it heavy or was it not so heavy?
You know, my expectations were so high.
Okay, so you had expectations for the time.
Yeah, because
expectations led to disappointment.
I loved Honey and Pain.
I need to listen to that one. When did he come up with that one?
Last year.
Maybe it's too soon then.
Maybe it's just a fun project. I don't know.
Maybe it's too soon.
for him. I think it's after the whole Sway thing because his videos is doing rounds. That's why most of these, because most people are actually now beginning to even listen to like Amapiano, like making Amapiano reviews. So Stogie T's one is the one that people really respect. Like what I've the STC's ones is there, but I think maybe he wanted them.
Maybe a pressure.
Yeah, I was like, hey, since they're still checking me out, let me quickly release this.
So the game album. Born to Rap. Sounds familiar. Isn't someone else who also came up in the album like that?
Born This Way, Lady Gaga.
No, Born
It's
to Rap.
Christmas.
I think Nas is a song like that, Born to Rap.
Oh, okay. So what do you think of the album? Jay, let's start with you.
Woo! I love the album. I think this is me, and I want you guys to go hard at me.
Okay.
Of all of the music and albums I listened, hip hop albums this year.
This year. Okay.
This is the best. I would even say in the last 2 years, this might be the best
2
album.
years? You do know that Damn dropped.
Damn dropped in 2017.
Okay. You're safe.
2018, 2019, this is the best album for me.
Damn dropped 2017.
Or for you, not necessarily like in hip hop or like.
And no, in hip hop specific,
Corona.
because you must tell me which album is better than the Game album,
As you see,
and you must listen to it carefully and closely, because the first time I listened to it, I listened it from the beginning till the end, and there was difficult music that he introduced,
Yes.
like R&B, soul, and things, and it's like, how are you gonna fuck up this beat with the rap? And he didn't. So from the beginning till the end, and he ties it up beautifully in the end, and I'm like, okay, you open with Ed Sheeran, you close with Ed Sheeran, but the opening was the end, so you listen to it. So now, okay, that's my first listen. I always listen it from the beginning till the end. My second listen, I put it on random, and then you can see how cohesive the sound is. So the first is you can put a storyline on all the thing, but if you want to listen to cohesive sound, then it needs to be, put it on random and you see how cohesive the sound is. And the sound is amazing, it's cohesive. The song sounds like on random that they follow after each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then if you go into a lyrical breakdown and deep dive, it's also amazing. So that's for me, it sounds great, lyrical content is great. This album is really lengthy, but if you're listening from beginning to end, you will not even feel it. It tells a beautiful story, and his raps is not undercooked. It's actually really cooked. It matches the features that they have on it.
Yeah.
Is really good.
Yeah.
for the style of art that they produced.
Yeah.
Surprising artist, something.
Okay, so that's my review. Very positive review.
Because I didn't listen to the whole album, but okay, for me, the game I've never really. I think it's the same of like with you and Casper. That's how I feel with the game. I don't know. Maybe it's because 50 Cent just took the limelight when there was still all UG in it. But one thing I've recognized is that he always keeps it real. He's not the compromising type when it comes to like who he really is. And the sound of the few tracks that I listened to reminded me of West Coast. So it really
Boom ba.
yeah, it's just basically just still him. So I think that's much I can say, but I'll have to listen to it all like you said and then see how it is.
No, I loved it as well. And I mean, for me, it's the same. I haven't really. It's probably the first album I listened to of his. Yeah. So also haven't really. I mean, obviously, Hate It or Love It was the one that you kept on repeat for a long time. It could transcend from the radio to the club, and it would still be a dope song. So from that, I was like, okay, let's see what this guy's up to. So, I mean, honestly, when you said we must listen to the game, I'm like, you remember the drink called Game? The drink, like it's like a mixed drink, like you mix it like energy and you can mix it. So when I think of the game, it's literally like, it's play. It's like toys, it's the game. It doesn't have that oomph, you know, like the G would have been better instead of the game. So when I think of the game, I'm like, okay, it's like a play guy. I mean, Hate It or Love It was also like a funky song for the club. It wasn't for me impactful. Okay, so this is like my first listen, like in depth, like that. And it's obviously after Voices. So I loved it. I liked I liked like the range of music that he had on there. So you went like this really deep song, and he was able to take you on this journey, and he didn't like start it like if you listen to the album from beginning to end. He doesn't start with all the heavy stuff or the deep, the slow music. Like he throws it in the middle, man. And for me, that's like, yeah, it's very difficult to do that and still keep you as an audience. So that's the range that I like. So there's obviously those two deep songs on there was the tribute to Nipsey, and the other one's tribute to his father.
His father.
Tribute. Is it tribute?
Yeah, you can say tribute.
So the one for Nipsey, I mean, the vocals in there saying, "I didn't want to write the song." So like straight up, you already get the feeling of like, okay, the song needed to be made. We needed a tribute, because I don't know if any other artist actually did that. The whole, because on the album he kind of carries the tribute across. So for me, like on the song, it was like we didn't want to write the song because we weren't ready for this type of loss, So I like the way he brought it in, the way he's talking about what are you doing in heaven there with Tupac and Biggie? What is happening? Like, are you preparing things for when we come? And he also mentioned something about the way that he died, and if that's the way, like that he would also want to die that way if that's gonna help people, if that's gonna help the hip hop game.
Deep lyrics.
That is very deep.
I'm actually surprised because the game, he never goes into this kind of.
No, it does. You see, people just don't listen to game music.
I don't think I listen.
And you're right. The beef with 50 did affect his music. And not his music, his brand.
Yeah.
And the reason why his name is The Game, because hip hop is the game. It's
makes sense.
so, and this is his last album is Born to Rap, so that's the link
Yeah.
between.
I mean, he's also saying can anybody beat rap better than him?
There is a couple.
No, I'm saying that's what he says on the album. Can we just stick to the game?
So then the album cover, you guys seen the album?
Yeah.
A lot of pregnant women
Yes.
with babies on it. I think that is all of the birth that he gave, the scope that he gave to people.
Wow.
The scope, so like he gave Nipsey, Kendrick, he opened the door for a lot, and they named all of those people that he gave the door, and even Nipsey, that's the voice. When
Yes.
Nipsey's voice came in, it's a surprise.
Yeah, he's on one of the intros.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, and the
interlude.
outro. No, it's an
Oh, is it outro of the song? Sorry.
outro song. Nipsey voice came and explained how he in game got. So he's explained that in game they saw game in their hood. Game is a blood, Nipsey is a crip. So bloods and crips is a mix. So Nipsey came up with his homies to game, and he saw game sitting with a pistol on his Glock on his lap. So first, Game explained in one of the interviews that he thought that Nipsey and them is coming for him because he's a blood. And it was to give the mixtape, and that mixtape he listened to it, and then gave Nipsey and Kendrick opportunity to tour with him.
Just like that.
Yes, 100 days.
Hey, but it's all about hustling, Okay, obviously.
It's so sweet.
Yeah, it's.
But yeah, he mentions that a lot though in the album.
So this
Exactly.
album is made out of pain.
Yes, definitely.
So he made the album before, but then the XXX Tentacion died. One of the kids that he mentored, the rappers. So then he
Was
changed
mentoring him.
Yeah. So then the thing changes. He changed the album to kind of being a tribute to XXX and Tentacion.
So this is what he was working on.
And then when Nipsey died, he had to scrap the album again.
Oh.
And then he did a whole tribute for these two artists on one trip. Also his last.
And then it must be.
No,
so,
it
so
is.
that backstory help a lot with for the standing of the album.
But then the songs, if you go into the individual songs,
What's
it's just diamonds. So for instance, if you took Westside,
Diamonds like.
it's like hidden treasures, man. You
Yeah.
really have to find it.
Yeah.
So if you look at Westside, that song, it has the Tupac flow, and it's a tribute to California Love. It's the same Mad Max thing as a tribute to California Love, and it has a Tupac flow.
No, I didn't realize that.
Oh.
Then the second one is the one that I like, Jesus pieces.
Yeah. The
So-
cross.
Yeah,
Mm.
Jesus pieces. The cross on Jesus' back.
Yes.
That is a tribute to Kanye West actually.
Is it?
They put the cross on Jesus' back. They let him crawl up until his knees is black, and that takes him back to a song album that he and Kanye worked together on with Jesus pieces.
Wow.
Mm.
And at the end, he makes it clear that this is a tribute to Kanye and saying this is a gay service where you see the gangsters and the crooks in one service together.
Mm.
But
Oh,
that's-
that's a bit deep.
But that's not even the deep part.
No. It's too
He
much.
starts the thing with the Kendrick flow, and then he slows it down and he went into a cold flow.
You pay that.
Yeah, Jay analyzed like, and you know, it's the first time I see Jay being so like 100% satisfied with an album. That he,
First time?
no, like,
Oh,
like,
you went there for them.
like the way, like, yeah, I mean, maybe it's because of that one. Like just the way you were even picking everything out, and it's
Yeah.
and just listening to you is like, yo, the story is connecting so much. The Kanye part, especially, yo, because yeah, his story is very.
Yeah, but it is a really good album.
Yeah, when are you discussing Kanye? I think Kanye West. I
Why?
mean, no, like what I would want to discuss about him is he's changed, like he's changed, like he's he changed
That is a 2020 conversation.
conversation.
Yeah.
All in all.
So guys, this is the last. Let's wrap up.
Any message from you for the year?
Oh, any message from yo for 2020 or like to wrap up?
The wrap up
Yo,
to the audience.
but now I have to think quickly, but let me see.
Okay, so we want to say thank you for everybody for watching and for supporting us wherever we were and needed help. This has been an amazing year for Voices, building on from last year, because we were able to meet so many people in the
This year
In
we
the
meet
game.
more. We focus more on.
on impact, I guess. We also want to have a social impact. So we focus more on that. We focus more also a little bit on local artists, a lot more on local artists.
This year, yes.
But also like the upcoming ones, the ones who are handing out their CDs in person. So we looked at that as well. So I think we're just excited for what we're gonna do for next year and what is gonna come out of the game next year as well, locally especially. So yeah. So thank you guys for support. Please follow us on social media.
Oh, cause now I know what.
Yeah, I'm handing over to
oh,
you.
I thought she's wrapping up.
I'm handing over to you.
Okay. Yeah, this year has been a very wonderful year, a very huge learning curve. I learned so many things. I learned more about the YouTube world of things, but also getting, basically voicing out our opinions as voices throughout to obviously the entire hip hop global community really. And I really like to say I've learned much, and I'm so much looking forward, because so many people are actually very optimistic about 2020 because it's like a beginning of a decade. So there's so many expectations, hopefully even new ways of thinking in the game, new executions, very unique art, more deeply authentic stuff that we can sit here and talk about from now until next year. But nonetheless, 44 images. Ting.
Anything from your side?
Keep listening, keep reaching out, keep making music if you're an artist. And then thank you very much for the support.
Yes, and so we need to mention
Especially the 25 people who is
the
loyal.
25 people that's following us and watching our things. So we have to give a big shout out to our viewer, who's also been one of our amazing supporters. He's part of Voices and researchers, and adding to the authenticity of Voices. And to Diego Duambe, also assisting us wherever he can and representing where we can in socials. And to Leslie, who's also probably been our biggest critique. Thank you for that. And those are our only supporters. And hopefully next year we will be thanking
Like a list,
like a big name, like big names of people who are funding. You know what I'm saying? So anyway,
this thing will never be funded.
Why?
No, we are not here to sell the culture. We are to forward the culture. So we will be endorsed.
Yes, that's where I was going.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so from Simone,
And TP.
JC.
we are Voices of the South. Thank you guys for your support and have amazing festive.
And safe.
And safe festive.
Oh yeah. Don't and otherwise.
Winner.